All right, welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily. Let's head right to the podium. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz.
Anything about
You're down.
do what you feel that you can do, and pretty soon, about 6 months later, I was pretty much back to normal and pretty much working normal hours. But it was really an honor to be back in that organization. It was an honor to work with guys in the staff. I think I have some lifelong friends on that staff, and I'm greatly indebted to Vrabes for what he did and for helping me out. I just hope that I gave as much as I received in those 2 years. So it'll be good to look. It'll be good to see those guys. You know, a son of Northeast Ohio coming back home to play a game, and I figure the best way I can honor them is to play really good defense on Sunday.
That makes him such an effective coach and allows him to get the best out of guys like he does.
Yeah, you know, he's a former player, but that's not the whole story. He's very consistent in his message. He has a philosophy. He sticks through it. He doesn't waver when it comes to the winds of the NFL, I guess you'd say. You know, the wind starts blowing one way, he doesn't change direction and go another way. And I think that's probably the biggest thing. He's an excellent leader. He's a fantastic game manager. I learned a lot from Vrabes when it came to dealing with a team and, in game management. No matter how many years you've been in the league, this is 31 for me, there's always something that you can pick up and learn from somebody else. And, every day I seem to pick up something that's like, you know what, he did that a different way than I've done it in the past, and maybe that's a better way. So I think the biggest thing is, he sticks to his guns. He's unwavering. They lose a game, he doesn't change course, and that's valuable in the NFL. No, I had respect for him as a player and then knew him a little bit, But, my kids were in school in Nashville, and I was back in Nashville. And, I'd see his wife Jen walking the dog, and, we lived in close to the same neighborhood. And, so in the off season and stuff, we would, run into each other at times. No. Oh, no. He had, he had touch base once or twice a year before that. But, when the news came out that I had to step away, it wasn't anything other than, how you doing? And then, hey, look, come back, have a little fun, and you can contribute. And, like I said, I think I was a good mentor, helped the young coaches out, and knew my role. And like I said before, Tony, I hope I gave as much as I received.
Do you think your 2 years there, you got to know Tannehill pretty well, what does well, what maybe you take advantage of. So how's that going to help you on Sunday?
Well, I think knowing personnel helps a little bit. They've turned over a lot of personnel, but whether it's Ryan or Derrick Henry, all those guys, you have a good idea of what guys do well and what they don't. I don't know. It's a whole lot different than just film study because Ryan's been in the league for so long, Jeff, and he has such a track record, not just with the Titans, but Miami before that. So he has a lot of tape on him. Derek has been around a lot, and it's going to be a tough challenge stopping those guys on Sunday.
We have 4 new starters on the offensive line. Is that where it starts for you for your game plan?
Well, I think, when you're built the way we are, up front is what drives our defense. We expect those guys to be the engine of our defense. And, and I think we have, just in general, we have guys that are tough matchups, not necessarily against the Titans, but just in general. And we tend to, we try to emphasize that. And, so I think that, it starts from there. I think you've seen the way teams have played us the first 2 weeks. They don't want to hold the ball very long and, try to do a lot to combat what we do on defense. So I'm sure they'll do the same thing. They know who our players are. They know, what they're capable of doing, so they'll have a plan. But I think just like you saw on Monday night, sort of like you go back to Cincinnati and we had Miles on the center and he got a flush and we got the sack. And came back last week and they had a different plan for it. And we had anticipated it, but they weren't going to leave Miles one-on-one in the center, so they doubled back, which left Sione free, and Sione was able to get the sack. And, I think we have a lot of complementary parts that way that, that we can use. And, you devote too much attention to one guy, we have a lot of ways to, sort of make you pay in another way. So D-line's very important to us, but, they're gonna have, not just rushing the passer this week. Number 22 is coming to town, and, we need him on Highway 90. We don't need him on Highway 71, if you know what I mean. Right? No north-south. We need him east-west. We need him. We need him going sideways, and the D-line's going to have a lot to do with that, and getting penetration and keeping him from coming downhill on us. Because, Jeff, you talk about having firsthand knowledge. I've seen that firsthand. I've played against Derek before, but then also seen how people try to take him out of game plan. And definition of a great player is, even when teams start their game plan with you, you still have a way to be effective. And I think Derek falls into that category. He's a guy that, you can stop 9 times in a row, and the 10th time he can go 90 yards for a touchdown. So we're going to have to play excellent team defense. We're going to have to tackle well. We're going to have to be physical, and we're going to have to get hats to the ball. Tackling Derrick Henry isn't a one-on-one thing. It's an 11-on-1 thing, and, we have to have that mentality going in.
Jim, how pleased have you been with your run defense through this first 2 games?
It's 2 games. We're off to a solid start. Obviously we had the missed tackle that led to a 21-yard gain in that play. I think, Z makes that play probably 9 out of 10 times, but, Najee Harris is a good back and he broke it and, made us pay. But, the consistency of not allowing the people to move the chains with the run game is very important to us. And it also helps set up our rush. If we can make a game one-dimensional, then, it can lead to more opportunities to pass rush and things like that. So, and just allowing offenses or preventing the offenses from controlling the flow of the game and the tempo of the game, all those things are important. And, if you want to be known as a physical defense, well, you better do a good job stopping the run. And, we want to do all those things.
Back to Monday night, what was the message to the defense after that big play to Pickens? Seemed like it was a really turning point of the game, but defense seemed to kind of rally up after that. What was the message?
Well, we had started, I think, the first drive interception, punt, fumble recovery, punt, and then a 3-and-out field goal. So we got off to a fast start, and then we had a little bit of a lull. We gave up that touchdown. We gave up a field goal. And I think the guys have a lot of pride. And the thing with that touchdown is it was just really, it wasn't just one person. We didn't execute that defense very well at all. And that's a defense that we generally played really well over the course of training camp, preseason games, and the regular season so far. So it was disappointing that way. But, those plays are going to happen in the NFL. Hopefully you can limit those as much. It's the only touchdown we've given up in 2 games. And our guys have a lot of pride. And, we finished the game with punt, 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 punt. And we're able to at least get the ball back for our offense. And, like I said, our job is try to set them up and get the ball back for them. So our guys didn't panic. Our guys didn't let one. But, I think the thing we have to guard against in a game like that, and then losing Nick and things like that, one of the things we talked about was just guarding against guys trying to play outside the scheme and do too much. You can go get too antsy trying to make plays. And our message is make the plays to come to you. Don't go outside to make them. And I think in that play, we had a lot of guys trying to make a play, and instead of just making the play that came to them. So, I'm proud of our guys' ability to bounce back. I'm not proud of that play, but we'll bounce back from it.
Nick is a blow. You also saw the Titans in 2021 lose Henry for 9 games and still go 12-5. How were they able to do that?
Yeah, I think it's what I said before about Mike Vrabel. He's just, he doesn't panic. He stays the course. He's very resilient that way, and it flowed over to the team. And part of that job of the head coach is to make sure everybody knows, hey, it's going to be okay. We have a plan. We have good players behind. Deontay was able to step in and play good in his place. And, injuries are just fact of life in the NFL. And no coach points to injuries as the reason that, you don't perform well. No good coaches do, right? It's just, hey, next guy up, and let's fill them in. Let's find out what we're good at. Let's find out how we best use those guys. And, whether you're talking about Derrick Henry or Nick or, anybody else, that's just a standard course of action in the NFL.
What was the worst injury that you had to deal with as a coach?
I don't know. I mean, there's tons. When I was in Tennessee way back in like 2002, we lost Javon Kersel in the first play of the game, broke his foot. And he was premier pass rusher in the league, and we ended up in the AFC Championship game that year. So he was able to come back in like 10 weeks, but, we had to survive him being down in that game, Jeff. A rookie seventh rounder replaced him in that game, had 3 sacks. So, when you just don't pay lip service to the next man up, I think fans and other people tend to be more concerned about injuries than coaches because, our whole thing is, okay, what's next? What do? We don't have time to fret about it. You just go to the next guy and move him in and, try to be efficient.
Make of your red zone defense. You haven't had a
Yeah, we haven't let anybody inside the 30, so not just red zone. Obviously, that's not going to continue, but I like where it is right now. Either 0% or 100%, I don't know the way you'd put it, but the less opportunities. Red zone's tough, and that's where scores happen. And we've given up a couple field goals, but they've generally been longer field goals, which we've seen guys miss. Cincinnati game and stuff like that. So, we just go and play on the field position that we got and hope that we can stop drives. But I think, Tony, that probably plays a little bit into the third down. We've made it hard to sustain drives so far. So when it's hard to sustain drives and you don't give up a lot of big plays, albeit a 71-yarder, it makes it hard to get down into the red zone.
Was that a clean hit by Minkah Fitzpatrick? And how do you coach your guys regarding low hits, high hits, and?
Yeah, I glanced at it at the board, and I haven't watched it since. So it's football. Okay, guys. All right.
You guys are up.
Deadline.
All right. This is my favorite one. We need him on Highway 90, not Highway 71. That is strong, horizontal. Not vertical.
East,
I like that.
East, not west. North, south.
That's
baby.
right, baby. I love that.
Yeah,
that
made it onto the game notes. That'll be in the. You'll hear that on the broadcast.
I took some notes on that one as well.
Yeah,
I thought that was very, very good. We'll get the full reaction to some of Jim Schwartz's comments. Obviously, we're back at work preparing for the Titans, which is going to come here quickly on Sunday. We are off and running here on Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Jim Schwartz at the podium. Get to the matchup in just a second. We will do the matchup both ways, offense and defense, for us against the Titans, which comes on Sunday. You'll hear from your quarterback, Deshaun Watson, as well. This is a biggie. They all are, especially when you drop one that you shouldn't have Sunday in Pittsburgh, or Monday night, rather, in Pittsburgh. So there's an opportunity to get right. Perfect conditions for this.
Should be.
Looks
Should be
like, right? We're in the
ideal
70s.
conditions.
And
Yeah. Should be ideal conditions.
This is it, right? Like if you were to say to yourselves, like, if you were to say Chamber of Commerce, State of Ohio, it's like September 15th to October, 20?
Yeah.
25? Like this month is our –
It's a good time.
yeah, this is the time to live, baby. I mean, this has been spectacular. Absolutely spectacular out there. So we should have a good day for this
We
on
need
Sunday.
it. We need it. We need it. I think.
You think? Do you think?
Yeah, I think a nice day for the fans after they sat under the one cloud that was in the whole Cleveland area in the season opener. So yeah, I think it'll be very good.
We didn't talk about that after the somebody. My dad had called and he was like, man, you guys getting poured on there? I said, actually, no, perfectly sunny.
Perfectly sunny.
Just other than that one track of it. This is a very, very gettable and beyond that game. This is a get right, get healthy type of game. I think the most fascinating part of this game, we'll get into this greater detail tomorrow and in some of the matchups, though, is how do we go about our business offensively? Because we've had 24, we don't anymore, and the look of that, and how do you get 4 on track? That's really something that needs to happen starting Sunday.
Yeah, that's basically the whole thing, right? Like, I mean, this team now with the loss of Nick Chubb is going to have to be fully put in the hands of its quarterback, Deshaun Watson. And Deshaun Watson needs to play at a level that is capable of putting a team on his back and carrying it. And he's demonstrated the ability to do that earlier in his career. With the Browns, 4-4 as a starter, just hasn't really, other than that one half and watching, hasn't really kind of gotten out of, first or second gear in terms of what he's capable of. And he still gives you the glimpses.
Yeah.
It needs to be ratcheted up consistently, and the time is now. You're facing a pass defense that's given up exactly 305 yards to both Derek Carr and Justin Herbert. They were the worst pass defense in the NFL last year.
Yeah.
This is a gettable team. Now, they've got a good pass rush up front, and we'll talk more specifically, but this is all about now, our offense, and I realize, that there are a lot of benefits of being in 13 personnel, this, that, whatever. I just think we now have to play in whatever way Deshaun Watson is the most comfortable. And your season, if your season is derailed by the loss of your star running back, and Nick Chubb is as elite as it gets,
Yep.
then your season was not going to be a season of consequence anyway, because you're not doing anything of note in the AFC without a quarterback.
You're not doing any. This is one of the. You've said many smart things through the years on this show. A great many smart things. One of my favorite things you said was, in this NFL, you have to throw it when they know you're going to throw it.
Yes,
you have to be successful. To play devil's advocate, just with Watson's early performance, just a little. If you go and look at the top 10 quarterbacks in the first 2 weeks of the season, from a rating standpoint,
a lot of struggles.
Brock Purdy's number 1 for starters. Jalen Hurts is in the 20s. He's like 24.
Mahomes is down.
Mahomes is like 13, 14.
Yep.
Hurts is in the mid-20s. Burrow's in the low 20s. Deshaun's like 28 or whatever, like way down near the bottom. But like the guys that are off to good starts are not the names that you would see. In fact, if you look at the top 10, I think there's only one guy who – I can't even remember who it is. Lamar's like 18. Like,
Tua.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
Cousins.
Tua. Yeah, and Cousins. Tua and Cousins have been really efficient to start the season. Everybody else has struggled, and I don't know what that is. Is it not playing enough in the preseason? But then the crazy thing is, like, Pickett played a ton in the preseason, was great. None of it translated. So it's like I don't know what the answer to it is, other than the fact that just these guys just aren't as sharp across the league as you would anticipate them being. I'm talking about Lawrence, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert. All the guys that you would say, these are all Pro Bowl type quarterbacks, struggle. Dak's been great. Purdy's been great. Cousins.
Dak hasn't played in any type of a situation other than perfect in 2 games. I mean, they have just been boat racing
drilled
people.
Yeah, they have. They have. Yeah. But to his credit, he's not putting them in those positions either. Like he's not making any sort of adverse conditions for his offense to play in, which is something that that we have done. So I think it's an odd start to the year.
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, but like everything that we thought the AFC was going to be to this point it's not there. The teams aren't as smooth, and there's big problems. I mean, Joe Burrow's not practicing today in Cincinnati. So if they got to go with, is it Jake Browning who's the backup, the kid from Washington?
Yes,
so he's
exactly
the backup down there. So like they play Monday night against the Rams, who are pretty formidable, and Stafford's playing really good. And all of a sudden, if Burrow can't go again, he's still nursing this calf. And even if he does play Monday, you have to question if he'll ever be healthy, truly, this year, at least till they get to a bye week. Like the AFC,
It's wide open.
it's stumbling right now, and it is wide open.
That's why it would have been so nice
Oh, gosh.
to have handled your business and been one of the 3 teams in the conference at 2-0, plus be 2-0 in your division, 2-0 tied with the Ravens. But we're not. But we have an opportunity over the next 2 games to put ourselves immediately back at the forefront of this conference and this division because you get the Ravens. These 2 games, I think, are critically important, and it starts with winning this very first one against the Tennessee Titans, which is a winnable game. This is not a great roster. This is not a great roster by any stretch of the imagination. There's talent. There are guys that are game records, especially on their defensive side of the ball, but this is not an elite team. The Browns need to handle their business. That's what they need to do. Go out there, handle their business against Tennessee Titans. But, yeah, there's been a lot of stumbling, bumbling. The NFL is so awesome because it truly is in any given Sunday league because it's the way the ball bounces. I mean, the way the ball bounced against us in that game against Steelers is insane. Like, the pick gets caught by Minka, batted out of his hands, and literally directly in stride to Alex Highsmith, so he takes it back. The sack strip fumble, like you see that all the time, and the ball kind of sometimes usually the ones that you see go to the house are when they strip it backwards.
Yeah, and you scoop and score.
And then you scoop and score. This one was like batted almost, and I was listening to a pod today where they gave the analogy, like it was as if Alex Highsmith bounced past that ball to TJ Watt on a fast break to the end zone.
Yeah.
But those are the things that can happen, and that's why, we lost. One thing I will tell people that I think is different about this Browns team, and we'll see if it manifests itself, on Sunday and Sundays to come. You've got guys in here who are not fazed by what happened in a positive way, and let me explain what I mean by that.
Go ahead.
They care deeply about the fact they lost the game. They all know, everybody in that locker room knows they should have won. But you got guys like Juan Thornhill. Juan Thornhill in Kansas City, remember they went into Indy last year and laid an absolute egg and lost to the Indianapolis Colts?
I do, yep.
And then they bounced back.
Yep.
And so you got guys like Thornhill and McLeod who are like, okay, was that ideal? No. What's the ultimate ramification? We lost a game, one. It's just one game. And now we're going to bounce back because we are good. And so I think that there is something positive because outside of these walls, I mean, we're on a roller coaster right now of the likes of which we've never seen because this is such an important season. There is so much talent here. There is so much at stake. But the reaction, it's still the same football team. And maybe we weren't as good as we were in week 1. And there's still, I thought, plenty of room to improve.
We're as good as we were defensively in week 1.
For sure. And we're not as bad as we were in week 2. Yeah. But you would think like right now that this is a team in a complete crisis. And if things don't go well, in short order, maybe that will turn out to be prescient. But inside the building, I think there is still 100% confidence in this team and what they're capable of doing.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Like, it's pretty I'm glad you brought that up because to me, the way that it feels on the outside, and there's so many things that are so much more improved from when they were in these times, was 20 when you knew that it, you think about like when it wasn't going right with Freddie and you could feel like, okay, this is not, we're off the rails.
And 19,
or 19?
Yep.
19,
Yep.
Sorry. 19 with Freddie, and then 21 with the Odell dad video. I mean, those are the two. That's what this feels like now.
Yep.
And this isn't that. This isn't that because there is one finite thing that you can rely upon with this football team that you couldn't in those seasons, and that is that this defense, to your words, will travel and dominate people.
Yep.
And that's not changing.
No.
That's not changing at all. So that won't change Sunday. That's going to change against Baltimore. Doesn't mean wins are going to come necessarily. But I can guarantee you this defense will put you in a position to win more often than most will in the league. It's San Francisco-esque. It's Dallas-esque.
Yeah.
There's Philly. There's a few teams that, as the offenses are struggling, by the way, that use Philly, right? Like Hurts is way down
Yeah, he's
the
struggling.
list off the start of the season throwing the ball. But They have other components that they can rely upon. They've got great culture, and they put themselves in a position to win, and that's the place that we're striving to be. But our defense will travel. This is not that type of feeling at all.
Agreed. And so it's incumbent on this team to handle its business, to go out there and take care of things. This defense, to your point, number 1 in the NFL, 14 first downs allowed. Number 1 in the NFL, 1 touchdown allowed. Number 1 in the NFL. Listen to this. The average depth of tackle on run plays is the line of scrimmage. The next best in the NFL is averaging the average depth of tackles 2 yards up the field or down the field, depending on your perspective.
Better or worse.
That's right. 2-yard gain. An average, the second best is a 2-yard gain. Ours is at the line of scrimmage. We are number 3. We're allowing 4.3 yards per attempt. We're number 1 on third down, 6 of 29. That's 20%. There has not been an offensive snap inside of our 30 all season. Like, that is ludicrous. Now, that says 2-0. Then you have 6 giveaways. Not good. And that puts you, obviously, where you are at 1-1.
Yeah, I just pulled this up, by the way, just kind of so people haven't. And I prefer QBR to quarterback rating.
Yes.
I think it's a more accurate.
Week 1,
view.
Watson was still top 10 in QBR. This week, I can't imagine he was.
So, in terms of through 2 games, Purdy's 1, Prescott 2, Tua 3, Jordan Love 4, Jared Goff 5, Cousins 6, Stafford 7, Geno 8, Patrick Mahomes 9, and Baker Mayfield 10. So outside of the top 10, Allen, Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Trevor Lawrence is 28. Deshaun is actually 30th in QBR through 2 weeks, just Fields and Pickett below. But Trevor Lawrence is 28 on this list. So that's just been everybody. It's a bit of a struggle getting out of the gates this year with the passing game. So then there was a story I saw last week with ESPN where there just aren't deep shots happening early this year. It's kind of the Mahomes effect that basically people are saying basically what they did to Mahomes last year at the start of the season where, fine, take all of these scraps underneath, but we're not giving you anything deep. And then it's just up to quarterbacks to take them. You just have to take the layups.
Yes,
and then it's hard for them to do it.
When you get your shots, you got to hit them. Let's look at the Titans. Week 1, they lose to New Orleans on passes more than 10 yards in the air. Tannehill was 4 of 12 for 57 yards and 3 picks. Last week, they end up beating the Chargers, who seem to have a fairly porous defense. Last week, he goes 5 of 6 for 161 yards on passes of more than 10 yards in the air. So when you have shots, you got to hit them. And the Browns did have a chance to have a few shots in both games that they have not connected on yet. And I think that will go a long way to opening things up. But that's the league right now. It's bend but don't break. Hope that you can get one sack here, a penalty there, that puts a team behind the sticks and kind of derails what they did, what they're doing.
Our old buddy Kirko announcing his retirement today, a 9-year career, third-round pick of the Browns, 778 tackles, 16.5 sacks, 7 interceptions. I remember him for dog check in camp.
And just a good dude, man.
Just a great guy.
Great guy.
Great career.
Great guy, great career, yes. And certainly one of my favorites to ever wear the brown and orange, and just an awesome guy. Overcame a lot in his life to have the success that he did. And just awesome. I remember seeing him in Houston last year, getting to talk with him before the game. Love Kirko. I hope he enjoys his retirement. Made a great living for himself.
Yeah.
Created multi-generational wealth, played a game that he loved at a high level. That's the anomaly, man. When you're drafted in 2014 to still have been in the league this year,
oh gosh,
that's the anomaly. And so hats off to Kirko. Love Kirko.
Had
great dude.
Another running back. Well, this one traded. Ours was obviously signed off the free agent list, but Cam Akers traded to the Vikings for a conditional 6th rounder. We had kicked the tires on Akers. That was reporting on that. I think he could do a little bit of good for them, for Minnesota.
Yeah, he's a talented guy, and there's talk. The most interesting thing about Minnesota is today. Do you see? I think Gronk is the one who said it.
What did he say?
If they lose this game. And who do they play this week?
Chargers.
Right. If they lose to the Chargers or an 0-3, they are trading Kirk Cousins and tanking for Caleb Williams.
I don't think that you're doing that at 0-3, not in the NFC.
Just here let me just throw this a devil's advocate at you.
Yeah.
They made a lot of decisions this year, like letting Dalvin Tomlinson walk, trading us Zadarius Smith for not a whole lot, that would indicate that they're looking to reload.
Yeah.
It is unlikely they're going to keep Kirk Cousins beyond this year. So at best, you'd be getting a compensatory third for him at that time. So there probably is a scenario that exists in which they say, listen, Justin Jefferson, we're going to get you the best young quarterback that you can play with for a decade.
I would say when they make that pitch to Justin Jefferson, it better also include a large amount of money.
Well, he has to be paid. Yes.
A large amount of money.
I think that makes you pay him
because he can't
immediately.
go. I don't even know who the backup is there. Like he's not.
I think it's Nick Mullins.
Is it Mullins?
I
Yeah,
believe so.
You can't. You can't do that. Yeah, I mean it.
It wasn't my. I was just saying that's what.
Yeah.
That's what it says right there.
So but if they do trade him, is that Atlanta? I mean, the Jets don't have anything to trade him. They can't trade their first or second round pick.
They got to be able to trade it on a conditional basis.
They can't because it's already conditionally traded to Green Bay.
But you know what it is.
I understand that. But every time anybody has this conversation, they say there's no way for them to do that if it's trying to conclude a first or second. I've seen Schefter say it.
We
I've
need
seen
an
them all say it.
injunction.
I agree, but
it's
like
ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean that's the spot. Obviously, would be New York
right.
on a 1-year deal. Play it out. But if it's trying to be a longer term play, like Cousins still got a lot of good ball in him. Like, could he go to Atlanta for 2 years, 3 years, and play? Wouldn't they be good right away?
Oh yeah, yeah.
If all of a sudden he was on that roster,
yeah. Agreed.
Those are the hot topics presented by Vivid Seats. Head to Vivid Seats to purchase brand new premium terrace experience. Your ticket comes with pregame field pass, parking, all-inclusive food and beverage, and lastly, a $50 Brown Shop gift card. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, official fan experience partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, our matchup, our defense, their offense. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Join Z and Gerard tonight on the Kevin Stefanski Show, 7 o'clock, Browns Radio Network. Coach Stefanski, Jerome Ford going to join the program. That'll be interesting to hear from Jerome, as he has a very big duty this week compared to what his duty was, or at least he believed it to be, heading into last week. Time for the matchup presented by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. It is our defense versus a Titans offense. Dr. Z!
All right, the Titans on offense, 4 new starters on their offensive line, and it looks like they're going to be already at their backup left guard. Peter Skoronski, their first-round pick, played week 1, but last week out with an illness, did not practice yesterday with an abdomen. So I don't know what that means. But they've got 2 new tackles. Chris Hubbard, the former Brown, who made 33 starts from 2018 to 2022 with us. He is at right tackle. Left tackle is Andre Dillard, the former first-rounder of the Eagles, who they jettisoned and only has 11 starts in his career. This is an inexperienced line. Their center's made 4 starts at center prior to this game. Their left guard, whoever that's going to be, if it's either Xavier Newman, has been in 2 games in his career, or Dylan Radins, he's made 5 starts in his career. So, I mean, there's just inexperience all over the place. We should be able to dominate them up front. Their offense, obviously, it goes through Derrick Henry, the 3-time Pro Bowler, first-time All-Pro, 2020 Offensive Player of the Year. He's got 4,000-yard seasons, 3 with 1,500-plus, 19, 20, and 22. So 3 of the last 4. On the season, averaging just 3.2 yards a carry, though, 80 yards rushing, a touchdown, 15 yards receiving. Remember, against the Browns, he was pretty darn good a couple of years ago, had that 75-yard catch and run for the touchdown against us. So he was good. Actually, those numbers I gave you were last week for him. On the season for Henry, 3.6 yards a carry, 143 and a touchdown, 5 catches, 71 yards. Next rushing touchdown, by the way, will be the 80th of his career. But he's not the only show in town running the ball. They also have Tajay Spears, and Tajay Spears has big playability out of Tulane, their 3rd-round pick this year. On the season, averaging 6.9 yards a carry, 11 rushes, 76 yards on the young season. So he's kind of their change of pace back. Last week played 24 snaps to Henry's 46. Out wide, DeAndre Hopkins. Great player, 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first-team All-Pro, 6,000-yard seasons. On the season, leads the team in targets and catches and yards, 18 targets, 11 catches, 105 yards. That's only 9.5 a catch and no touchdowns. Has not been over 1,000 yards since 2020. The last 2 years, both under 1,000 yards with the Arizona Cardinals. So DeAndre Hopkins.
Suspended last year?
A little bit of he missed time, injured, suspended, all of that. Yes, last season over 1,000 was 2020 Arizona. 1407-6. His best year ever, 2018, 115 catches, 1,572 yards, 11 touchdowns. That was with
who's the quarterback on that?
Deshaun Watson. His 2 seasons with Watson, over 100 catches, over 1,165 yards, both years. So they got Hopkins on one side. They've got their first-round pick, Treylon Burks, on the other side. Treylon Burks, so far on the season, 5 catches for 94 yards, 18.8. Had a 70-yarder last week. That bumps that up. But only 1 career touchdown so far, but he is a big play guy. 3 receptions of more than 50 yards since coming into the league. That's 4th in the NFL. So the Browns cannot let him get deep. They also have Nick Westbrook-Ukine right now on the season, 7 for 83 and a touchdown. He's the only Tennessee receiver with a touchdown. And then Chris Moore, who was coming off of a career year with Houston last year, he's got 1 catch for 49 yards. Their touchdown, Chig Okonkwo, was very productive last year. Very productive. He led, in fact, over the end of the year from week 9 on, 398 yards receiving, 5th in the NFL at tight end, 14.7 yards catch. That was number 1 at the tight end position. So watch out for him as well. And then, of course, the signal caller, Ryan Tannehill, 37-20 as the starter with the Tennessee Titans, has led the team to the playoffs 3 times. All-time franchise quarterback rating leader, 99.7, was a Pro Bowler back in 2019. For his career with Tennessee, this isn't bad. 67%, 13,275 yards, 90 touchdowns, 36 picks, and a 99.5 rating, and I would not have had this. In 57 games, he also has 836 yards rushing and 21 rushing touchdowns with the Titans. 21.
I wouldn't have had that either, no.
No, so that's 111 total touchdowns for him as the starting quarterback there. So that's their offense. They are going to run it. Derrick Henry is the engine that makes it go. They used all 6 of their draft picks this year on the offensive side of the ball, but they are not You can't let them hit those shot plays, and you got to make sure you tackle Derrick Henry. But if you put this team in 3rd and longs in an obvious drop back passing situation, that's where you're going to be able, I think, to really do some damage on them. Tannehill is definitely at his best off of play action. And so for us, our D's been elite. I imagine that it'll stay elite. Here's just one little note on Tannehill this year. Under pressure, 50% completions, 5.8 yards per attempt, 2 picks, and a rating of 28.3. His rating when he's kept clean is 90, 67%, 8.3 yards per attempt. So pressure will be important.
Would you have had that he had more years in Miami still than Tennessee?
No.
He's 6 seasons in Miami, 5 in Tennessee. He's starting his 6th season in Tennessee right now.
No, I wouldn't have had that. 79,
Actually, he's starting his
yeah.
5th. He's starting his 5th season in Tennessee.
So he
played 6 in Miami.
42 and 46 in Miami, 37 and 20 with Tennessee. Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah, and he's kind of the poster child for he got like I guess I didn't have my perception was that he did not get a full run in Miami. My perception was that it was 2 or 3 years.
No, he got a very full
But he got
run.
6 years, 6 full seasons.
What did we say, 42 and 40?
He comes into the league, 42 and 46.
That's a lot
Comes
of
into the
games.
league, he's 24. Starts 16 games, 16, 16, 16. He's a starter right away.
Yeah.
He started all the way through the whole time he was there for 6 seasons, 6 full seasons.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
Here's the thing. Remember I talked about you got to get them in 3rd and longs, obvious passing.
Yeah.
Off of play action this year, he's averaging 12.3 yards per attempt and has a quarterback rating of 93. Without play action, he's averaging 5.4 yards per attempt and has a quarterback rating of 58.8.
Yeah.
You got to get them into those 3rd and long situations, but be aware on early downs, that's when they dial up some of that play action shot play.
Yeah, we remember it quite well. We'll hit you with your Fantasy Minute coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. When a medical mistake caused you injury, call the medical malpractice attorneys at 1-800-ELK Ohio. Elk & Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the Fantasy Minute, presented by Scaleco Capital. Scaleco Capital, investing locally in the Midwest. I got some quick hitters for you. Is Puka Naka? How do you say it?
Puka Nakua. His cousin,
Puka-
somebody related
Puka
to him,
Nacua.
Kai Nakua, was on the Browns for a brief
Puka
period.
Nakua.
Yeah.
A must start every week.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's got the most targets.
He's got 10-plus catches, over 100-plus yards, both games. First
Yeah.
person who's ever done that to start the career. Yeah, you start him.
And
I'd
look-
even start Tutu. I think Tutu Atwell's right there is a must-start as well in that offense.
Stafford trusts him.
Yes.
So
Trents
he will
both of
be-
those guys.
He will be the cat who's going to get a lot of them. Is there a guy that is a must pickup this week? The running back.
Yeah,
for
unfortunately,
Atlanta's
it's a
probably
little
already
late.
been
I
done.
mean, it's all been done. But Jerome Ford obviously would be the number one pickup. Zach Moss, if he's on your waiver wire for some reason in Indianapolis, grab him. I think if you're looking for somebody to stash or pick up, maybe Kendry Miller, who was the draft pick down in New Orleans. Jamal Williams is out this week. He's supposedly back. No Kamara till next week. He might be like a pickup, and you can throw him in your lineup this week. And same with Craig Reynolds of Detroit. If Montgomery is out,
Yeah.
he'll occupy that role. I think Gibbs' role will stay the same, and they will use Reynolds to be kind of that hammer runner.
Is Jerome Ford a legitimate play with Nick Chubb out?
100%. I mean, he's
Sure start.
My guess is he is. I'm pulling up some rankings right now. My guess is Jerome Ford is a top 20 running back on all boards this week. So yes, you pick him up and you start him, no doubt.
Yeah, and remember, we're already into week 3.
Yep.
So if you think about Jonathan Taylor, you think about Jamison Williams, some of those guys who are going to start to filter back. Kamara. Yeah, those guys are going to start to filter back.
You should get Kamara week 4, Taylor week 5,
Williams
Jameson week 7.
Yeah. So you're getting there. You're getting to that point. I would also say, as we alluded to with the quarterback stuff, it's too early to panic on. Don't panic on your teams.
No.
Believe in your drafts, and you
Fields,
can
you can panic a little bit. I'm
you
panicking.
can poach people who are panicking.
Yes.
Be one of those guys for sure.
Yeah. But right now, you're starting Mahomes. You're starting the normal people. Guys that I like Goff against Atlanta. I like Geno Smith against Carolina. Those are two guys that I like quite a bit this week. And I like our guy. I think Deshaun Watson's going to have a good fantasy day this week as well.
This from Tommy on the social to you. A.J. Brown, Debo Samuel. It's a full PPR. Who do I sit? He's got A.J. Brown, Debo, Puka, and Mike Evans. Who do you sit?
Debo. A.J. Brown is too good to sit. Puka is too hot to sit. And then I think it comes down to Mike Evans or Debo. I mean, you're
They play
loaded.
the Eagles. Bucks play the Eagles.
Mike Evans is just good.
Yeah. And Bake's going to throw it up.
He's just good.
He's a
The
throw
Giants the Niners might not have to throw it a ton in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys loaded, by the way. I'd probably see you got to be deficient somewhere else if those are your 4 receivers,
Or he's in a 4-team league.
which would also be true. Also true. Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Or he's like in the 11-year-olds league where everybody drafts 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Running backs this week: DeAndre Swift again, Kyron Williams again, Mostert again, Kenneth Walker against Carolina. Love that. I think Gibbs will be good, and then Craig Reynolds, as I mentioned, is a little bit of a sleeper to me this week. And yeah, definitely our guy, Jerome Ford, for sure.
Can you go ahead? Give me that list again that you just mentioned.
For what?
Those running backs. Kyron Williams,
Yep.
DeAndre Swift.
Yep. Kenneth Walker.
Jameer
Gibbs. I like him. Mostert.
Mostert.
Rashad White. I'd even stick with him against Philly just because of his volume that he's getting right now. Zach Moss.
You have, if you
Gus Edwards.
Folks, just from the perspective, though, of understanding how the NFL operates, and there was all the kerfuffle this year about running back pay and all of that. Did you listen to the names that Z just read?
That's exactly why.
This is why.
This is why.
This is why. This is what the market dictates.
Yep.
That you don't have to have that guy. The best teams don't. Quite honestly, they don't. So that's the reason that the pay scale is what it is, because the list of humans you just named, even most diehard football fans couldn't tell you where they all went to college.
For sure.
Couldn't tell you where they were picked or how it all worked out.
For sure.
So,
one position, just real quick, to give a couple guys out at tight end. Hunter Henry against the Jets this week I like as a pickup and play. Sam Laporta is getting a lot of action with Detroit. And then Ferguson with Dallas, I think, are all pretty good plays. Zach Ertz, if he's on your league in a PPR league, they're throwing 20 passes a game. Just pick him up for his PPR. And I think he'll be good there. And then defenses this week, love the Patriots against the Jets. That's going to be a theme until they do something about their quarterback situation, is that you're going to want to play them. And I like our defense this week a lot.
I mean, I'm kind of like our defense. I play every week.
Up
Like,
against
they're
everybody,
kind of
yeah.
like one where I don't have to sub them out.
Yeah.
Drafted them for the week 1 matchup, and I've played them straight through.
Love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Got to do
Yeah.
that. Thursday football tonight, Giants at Niners. No, Al will not be pleased with this matchup.
Al
It's-
is going to be really angry
He's gonna
by
be
the
pissed.
second quarter for this one.
Is this one 12 or is this one 10.5? This might be a 10.5.
It was no.
Might
This,
have been changed because after we went off the air, they downgraded to out
3
left
linemen.
guard, left tackle.
and Saquon.
Yeah, and then
Saquon's out.
defensively. Ojolari,
Oh,
thanks. Una.
jeez. All those cats are out.
Yeah.
all out.
So then it's just a matter of the 49ers are going to slump. It's just a matter
10
of
and a half.
That's what I thought. It was 10.5. So like it's just a matter of do you keep foot to gas, or do you build it big enough early that they can't make it up?
Right.
Because if you're up, that's one of those ones you're up 17,
They should be up.
17-0 at half.
They should be up.
They get
handily.
some garbage touchdown in the 4th, and you don't really try offensively, and you win 17-7, but you go home displeased.
Yes.
It is Thursday night, and weird things
It's
happen
wacky.
on these Thursday night games.
Well, unless you're us, and then you just get them right every week, which is
We are.
You're welcome.
It is incredible.
No comment.
Just get it. No comment. It's true.
it's factual.
It's factual, and just get ready for a. Get ready for us to call the Giants' name later on tonight.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Um,
Get ready for it.
Is this were the Giants your second most hated team as a youth?
Yeah, especially when the
LT,
Jim Burt
Jim Burt
hurt Joe.
He did. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blindside. Yeah.
You guys are you're in the 75th anniversary throwbacks. The Niners are. Pedro's Niners are in the 75th throwback. Is he going?
No, he doesn't go. He doesn't enjoy it. He'll go
No.
if I get him tickets,
Scholarship.
Yeah. But even then, he's like, it's better on TV.
He's largely right. I mean, I think
There's something cool about being in the building when you get caught up in that emotion that only
Yeah, but that
70,000
stadium
humans
is so.
can give you.
Here's the one thing I will
I
say
don't
though,
know, it's just
and
not
this is
great.
just as on a serious note, and I understand this is tough with the Sandlot music in the background.
Yeah.
But you had a fan. You can cut the music for a second, bud. There was
Pause.
there was a fan in New England who was killed
I know.
in a fight in the stands on Sunday. There are these videos that are coming out week after week after week out of stadiums around the league.
It's crazy.
Folks, listen. This is your Uncle Bo talking. I like a cocktail as much as anybody. Enjoy them. They're great. Drunk in public is no way to go about life, and it's dangerous. And
See the guy in Cincinnati that headbutted
yeah,
the guy?
I did. It's awful. It's terrifying. It's awful.
Yes.
Be better.
Why are we
have to.
fighting?
You don't have to be blottoed. Like you can have a cocktail, have a beer, enjoy yourself, but there's got to be. You got to have an off switch, man.
My question is, what would compel somebody to fight? And you said the one in Washington, where that
There's
guy
one
got,
in every stadium every week that goes
why?
viral.
Why are people
Like,
fighting?
I don't know.
What would make you fight a complete stranger
I have no idea.
who
no
was
clue.
rooting for a different team than
I
yours?
have no idea. But it's happening way too often.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
right.
know we go to great lengths down at our stadium to try to prevent it. They have the text numbers up. If you see something, you hear something, let them know.
Sure.
So you're trying to do all that you can. But, boy, be better at those stadiums because that's terrifying stuff. You should not have to be fear for your life or your safety of you or your children or wife or whatever going to an NFL game on a Sunday. It's a Mailbag Thursday. Tweet your questions to us at Browns_daily. We will answer them a little bit later in the show. Your quarterback, Deshaun Watson, at the podium coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition into the dog race sweepstakes presented by Milk Foam for a chance for your pup to compete in the annual halftime dog races? Visit clevelandbrowns.com/contest to enter. Check out more from Milk Foam at your local grocery or pet supply store. Now let's head to the podium and your quarterback, Deshaun Watson.
You're down.
Kind of a teammate with Mike Vrabel, and then you played him 5 times as an assistant. What do you think of what he runs there defensively and what challenge?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have a tough, disciplined, physical defense that's going to try to, make you earn everything. He's going to, disguise and do things that is kind of out of the ordinary. He's going to make you think on the run, and he's just going to he's going to test you, throughout the whole game. So, the time, I played with him, he was a coach at the time, my first 2 years in Houston, and it was awesome to, be able to learn and see what he did, and then playing against him while he was at Tennessee when I was in Houston was actually, some good battles. So it'd be fun to, go against his defense again.
Hey, Deshaun, you said after the game that you got to play better. I know you wanted some passes back or whatever. What have you identified as maybe the biggest issue for you for 2 games?
For myself, it's just being on the same page with everybody else. And that's just going with the, protection-wise to the coverage-wise to what, we're thinking about with Kevin, if it's going to be a 4-down situation, if it's a 3rd-down situation, if I need to take the shots, if I don't need to take the shots, and things like that. So just being able to just continue to grow and learn, and that's the biggest thing for me. And that's the part of this game. It's the NFL. Every week is different. Every week is a new challenge, and you have to continue to grow and continue to get better.
As you've gone on in your career, have you gotten better at putting those games behind you, or do you try to process them all during the week as you're getting ready for the next one?
No, always. Once that next day is up, after the 24 hours, that rule, after the off day, I think it's Tuesdays, then it's on to the next opponent. You can't dwell to focus on that, especially early on in the season. And it's a long year, 15 more games to go, and you just take the bullets that come with it, and you grow from it, and you just move forward.
Why is getting on the same page such an issue?
Well, what?
Getting on the same page such an issue.
Well, you got to think. We had some injuries, so, we had a rookie tackle that came in, so we got to change up a little bit of the protection-wise. Nick went out early on, so, some young running backs that got to come in protection-wise. And then some of the receivers, Coop, he was a guy that came along during camp. He didn't get too many reps. Elijah's new to the system with live bullets, so we didn't get too many live bullets in real games. You can't sit here and say, practice is going to be exactly the games. It's 2 different speeds and 2 different things that's, adjustable. Practice is usually, this is what we're working on, this is what we're trying to get better, but in the game, you got to be able to adjust on the fly. So, all those things match up together, but, we're coming along, and, sooner or later it's going to click.
Mechanically, how do you think you're playing mechanically?
From what me and Kevin and AVP been talking about, it's been pretty solid. From what the grades that really matter is from what the coaches and what they want me to do in the system, and that's what I've been doing.
So your footwork and everything is what you want it to be?
Yeah, it's what I want it to be. It's what Kevin and AVP wanted me to do. And like I said, it's not always perfect, but, from what they see it on the film, game tape, and what they, their notes and their grades from what happened the first 2 games, it's been, pretty good.
Are you usually able to block out the noise outside and all the stuff going on social media and all the criticism that you're taking, or do you get yourself sort of sometimes involved in that? And if so, does it impact you in any way?
No, man, it doesn't impact me. I don't get into any of the social media stuff. So, my main job is here to play football and to be the best teammate and do what I can do to help the team win.
Deshaun, you want to follow up?
Yeah, I was just going to say, so are you kind of oblivious to, just some of the criticism out there that's kind of swirling?
I mean, I see it, I hear it. I mean, it's impossible not to see it unless I just turn off my phone completely, turn off the TV completely. But, it comes with the territory. It comes with the status and the standard that people hold me to. So, I don't look at it as anything bad. I don't look at it as anything personal. It's part of the game. It's part of my level, and it's part of, I look at it as, hey, people hold me to the standard. So I have to, make sure I play to that standard. And if I'm not, then I have to continue to find ways to get better. So, I don't take it personal. I don't get in my feelings about it. It's just, continue to just keep growing and keep learning and keep working each and every day.
During the broadcast of the game, they showed you in pregame sitting on the bench next to a person they identified as a visualization coach. Can you explain what's going on there?
Yeah, me and Doc, Am I allowed to say his name? Yeah, Dr. Pandya. Yeah, we've been talking since I got traded here last year. You know, he's a visual coach, a player coach, you know, a therapist for just the mind, the mental state of just not just the game, but life in general, and just being able to try to narrow your focus as much as possible. So we've been working and trying different things to make sure that I'm staying locked in on, you know, blocking out, you know, the good, the bad, just staying focused on my task and my job. And, you know, it's been helping, and he's been a great help for not just me, but everyone in this organization, in this locker room. So it's he's been good to be able to have that. I've never had that before, so I'm still learning and growing from him.
Is that a pregame ritual now for you?
I mean, this is our second or third time actually doing it. So, you know, we're seeing how it goes and seeing how it flows, and we're taking our time. You know, there's things that we got to adjust to, but it's definitely something that, you know, if it's going to help me, I definitely want to continue doing it.
Deshaun, your completion percentage in Houston is so high, and it hasn't been, you know, on your 8 starts. Why do you think that is?
Well, actually, it was going back at it, you know, early on in the seasons. If you look at 19 and 20 and 18, it wasn't as high until early on. The first 2 or 3 games, it was definitely low. We were still finding our rhythm, and then that's where we picked it up, especially in 20. 18, we started 0-4, won 10 straight. 19, I think we went 1-1. Week 1, I think it was New Orleans. That was a decent game. We lost that one. Went to Jacksonville. It wasn't a good game, and then that's when it kind of started rolling. And then 20 was very similar. I think we started 0-4 also, and then we started picking up things like that too. But yeah, I mean, it's just getting comfortable with this system. It's a totally different system. Just finding ways to, you know, get back on track when things are not going our way. You know, learning Kevin, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be a quick game. Or we're going to get it empty. Are we going to do a little bit, you know, zone read, keepers? What are we going to do to get back on track and things like that? So, you know, just being able to do that. You know, the other night, you know, the first play was, you know, tip ball and pick 6, and then I think the next 5 plays were completions, you know, and then it just kind of trickled there, and then it was like a little lull in the middle of the game where we kind of went, I think, 6 straight or something like that with incompletions. They did a good job on defense of covering the spots, and then we picked back up those completions. So, yeah, it's part of the game. You just pick up the pieces and you watch the tape and see which ways where you can keep getting those completions, but that's pretty much it.
Deshaun, you only played like 5 series in the preseason. How much, when you talk about, you know, the early struggles, completion, getting on the same page, how much, you know, is it that, you know, you guys don't have a lot of reps at game speed that, you know, you're getting adjusted to?
I mean, I can sit here and say that it's a lot, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell you guys that's the reason why. You know, it's just, you know, part of the game and how the game flows. So I'm not going to use preseason as an excuse to sit up here and say that, yeah, we got to continue to find our rhythm and things like that. I'm not going to make no excuses for myself or anybody. You know, we got to, you know, make sure we start fast and play better and get those completions and that time in the rhythm. And we got to be able to adjust. So, man, that's the biggest thing. Just keep going and keep grinding and keep working hard for it.
Sean, I know obviously you can't replace Chubb, but what have you seen from Jerome and just your confidence in him that he can add to this running game?
I mean, I think Jerome is very confident. I think he's very smart. He's picked up the system and the protection-wise, especially on third down, very well. And he knows exactly what, you know, we want for that running back position. And then, you know, bringing back Kareem is going to be helpful. He was there last year with him. So, but Jerome has been a guy that he's been watching Nick not from a distance, right behind him. I mean, everything Nick do, he try to simulate and do it in his own way. And I think that's been very, very helpful for him. And, you know, he's going to be a big part for this offense.
What do you think that Kareem is going to bring to you guys, not only in terms of just like another weapon for you out of the backfield, but from a morale boost and just he's like energetic on the sidelines and, you know, kind of helping you keep guys up?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the spot. Is the energy, the aura he just oozes out for this team and this organization. And I think he's excited to be back on the field. He's excited to be back in this locker room. He's excited to be in front of his home crowd. So, you know, I think he's, you know, looking forward to that. You know, I think the biggest thing for him is just to come in and, you know, just be Kareem. And that's all we ask him to do. Nothing special, nothing, you know, trying to make up for space for Chubb or anything like that, because that's a big void to try to make up. Just be you and let everything flow together.
Deshaun, you played this team a lot over your career. That defensive line, how, you know, what makes it special?
I mean, excuse me. Just the movement. I mean, starting up front with Simmons. I mean, he's a all-pro player. And then you got you got Key and got all those Autry and all those other guys. It's Howard. I'm not saying it right. Excuse me if I'm Landry. 58. I mean, he's another guy. I mean, all those guys are just disruptive and very fast, very active. Understands what Vrabel is asking him to do, and you got to respect them. And it's definitely going to be a good challenge for us. And we're excited to compete with them. And you got to give them credit for what they've been doing.
Sean, tough week with losing to the Steelers and then obviously losing Chubb for the year. As a captain of this team, how do you kind of boost the guys up? How do you recover from something like this and get them around that?
I mean, you can't cover from an injury like that with Nick. I mean, that's tough. All we can do is just, continue to just try to move forward, and the next person got to step up. But that's always going to be in the back of our heads and our minds, the things that, if Chubb was here and the things that he would say and the work ethic that he would put in. So, you can't replace that, but at the same time, this is the NFL. You got to continue to move forward, and the next person with the opportunity got to step up. And I think we're going to bounce back from that.
You cited those bounce backs from earlier in your career. Does that help you maintain your confidence and give you optimism that for the rest of the season?
I'm always have confidence. I mean, that's just the person I am. And then having the teammates in this locker room just telling me every day who the player I am, and just boosting my confidence too as I boost theirs, and we're just in it together. So that me losing confidence is not something that I'm going to do. I'm going to continue to work and continue to compete, and just try to get better as best as I can.
Deshaun, Minka Fitzpatrick is taking a lot of heat for that hit on Nick Chubb. If you saw it, I mean, what can you say about that hit? Did you think it was an okay?
I mean, I was live there. I didn't.
30.
When we watched the tape, we didn't even watch the play, so I can't speak on what happened exactly. I was on the opposite side, and I didn't even know Nick was hurt until I jogged back over and I seen him on the ground. So I'm not even sure about that, honestly.
Did everybody turn their head and showed it?
Oh yeah, for sure. And like I said, as quarterbacks, when we watched the tape, we knew the play and we just skipped it. We didn't even want to watch it. So.
You're up.
Yeah, incredible. I can't imagine being that close to it the way that he was in that game on Monday night. Big one for Deshaun coming up on Sunday. We will get you the breakdown, our offense versus that Titans defense coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Cleveland Browns avocados from Peru and Meyer want to give you the ultimate football sweepstakes. It's your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning electric pickup truck, a VIP tour of the CCMC, or $1,000 Meyer gift card. Visit your local Meyer or clevelandbrowns.com/avocados for more. Time for, actually, before we get to the matchup, it is a mailbag, so there's still time to get those questions into Gibbe at Browns_daily, and he'll take care of those. That's coming up in about 15 minutes. Between now and then, time for the matchup presented by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. It is our offense versus the Titans' defense. Dr. Z!
All right. This is going to be one of those kind of interesting ones. Stylistically, very similar to what you saw from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They'll be in that 3-4, but they are better up front. They've got two excellent interior pass rushers, Denico Autry and Jeffrey Simmons. Those two each have a sack in each of the first two games, one of three tandems in the league to have two players on the same team with a sack in each of the first two games. Simmons is a stud, Pro Bowler, two-time, 21 and 22 on the season. He's got 2 sacks already, 3 quarterback hits, 9 pressures, which is the same number as Myles Garrett has through 2 games. On the other side, you got Denico Autry, who's got 2.5 sacks and 8 pressures. And those guys are on the interior. These are the defensive ends, the 3 technique and the 5 technique in a 3-4 defense. And then on the outsides, you've got very good pass rushers. Arden Key's got 1.5 sacks already. He's got 9 pressures as well this season. He had 8 of them week 1 against New Orleans. And then on the other side, you got Harold Landry, who in his last full seasons, which was 2021, was a Pro Bowler and had 12 sacks. He got his first sack of the season last week. He missed all of 2022 due to injury. So that's the pass rush they've got, and it's pretty good. They upgraded their interior. They brought in Azeez Al-Shir from the 49ers at the inside linebacker position. Back in 21, he had 102 tackles, an interception, 5 passes defense, 9 tackles for loss. Last year, only 12 games for the Niners, but he is one side. Jack Gibbons, a former undrafted free agent, he is the other interior linebacker. He made 5 tackles last week. He leads the team, or second on the team, with 12 tackles this season. So those are the guys on the inside. And then the back end, Bayard is the best, 2-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 27 career interceptions. He's got 4 more interceptions in 5 of the last 6 seasons. He once had 3 interceptions against the Browns in 2017 off of Deshaun Kaiser. That is his career high. His 27 interceptions since he came into the league are second most, behind only Xavier Howard. So Bayard is a legit guy. And you look at this team, their corners, they've been banged up a little bit. They don't have Caleb Farley. Sean Murphy-Bunting was with Tampa Bay, former second-round pick, Super Bowl champion. He's come in. He had 3 passes defense last week, which was a career high for him. He's on one side. If Christian Fulton can go, he was their second-round pick in 2020. He'll be on the other side. He gave up 102 rating in coverage last year, though. On the season, Sean Murphy-Bunting's given 129 rating. You look at this defense, and you'll hear it a lot. High ratings, high completion percentages. Last week, they played a guy named Trey Avery because Fulton was out, an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers from 22. They went after him. 12 of 15, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns, 134 rating. So
that was Herbert did that?
Yeah, Herbert. I don't expect him
Chargers.
to play in this one. They'll play probably. Amani Hooker should be back. He was out last week with a concussion. He has 7 career interceptions. He'll be the strong safety. Bayard, the free safety. Molden will play some in their big kind of big corner situations, and then they got Roger McCreary as well. So it's a defense that's got a stud at up front. It's got very capable pass rushers and then a ball-hawking center field free safety that you got to watch out for. So far this year, they have not allowed a running back over 50 yards. They're giving up just 2.7 yards per carry. They have not allowed a rushing touchdown this year. They've been good against tight ends as well. No tight end over 50 yards, no touchdowns to that position. They have been brutal against wide receivers. They've given up over 200 yards and a touchdown to wide receivers in both games. They've given up a 100-yard receiver in both games, Chris Olave and Keenan Allen. The second leading receiver has been over 80. So they've given up over 110 and an 80 in both games. The first week it was Olave and Rashid Shaheed. The second week, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to try to get after you up front. They can generate a lot of pressure, similar 3-4. We've got to keep ourselves in good down and distance situations, not let them kind of unleash that pass rush. But they're weak on the back end, and you can throw the ball. They're not great covering at the linebacker position either. So this is a team that I think the Browns should be able to exploit very effectively through the air.
What do you think the first drive looks like for us? What is the way to get that pass game on track? How do you do that? Because you said this several times through the weeks, and I think you're right. There have been these throws here or there in all of these, every game he's played, that you go, wow. I mean, he had a couple of them in the game against Pittsburgh. You're like, geez, that's so tough to make that. That's who he is, right?
Yep.
And so how do you unearth more of those? Because I think the one thing that people would like to see, and you and I too, coaches, I'm sure Deshaun would like to see is, I mean, hell, even if they're just one drive like that, 1 2-minute bing bong bong,
touchdown,
put it on the board, let's go. And you kind of had that in the 2 minute against Cincinnati week 1. You did have that type of drive where it was like, okay, this is what it should look like. But you didn't have it against Pittsburgh. And so you just need to see that a little bit. How do you get that going? I know that's something they're wrestling with.
You're supposed to get those drive starters like the first play was. You get Alex Highsmith in coverage against Harrison Bryant. The ball gets a little bit tipped at the line of scrimmage. It ends up a little bit wide. Bryant gets both hands on it, doesn't catch it. You get bad luck, it becomes a pick six. But it's getting those kind of easy drive starters. What I think I'd like to see more of in this offense are those long handoffs to Elijah Moore. Just swing passes. Get it out to him in space. If he catches it and gets tackled right away, it's probably a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yard gain. If he makes a couple guys miss, it could be a big play or a 10-plus yard gain. But just get some of those easy ones and get them into a rhythm. And I know that's what they were trying to do. That's exactly why you come in that 13 personnel, then you bust it out to the 5 wide because you get the matchup that you want that should be an automatic, 7 yards. But you got to hit those layups early. I think, more shotgun, maybe not as much with the empty, but more shotgun, and just give him some of those concepts where he feels comfortable with them, and it's here, or it's takeoff. And just let him kind of be more free as opposed to, some of the stuff that he has to do in timing. Now, he's been very good in the play-action keeper game. So that, more of those boots, get him on the edge. What's tougher to do, though, against a 3-4. That's why you didn't see as many of them against Pittsburgh, because those stand-up edges are so wide that they're compressing. And what makes this Tennessee team very tough is they have the guys out wide who can really kind of compress the edge and narrow the field. And then in the middle, they've got Jeffrey Simmons, who is an absolute game wrecker. So they are a tough team to deal with.
Yeah, they sure are. And they're going to be really, really well coached. And you've seen it. They are there to compete. First 2 weeks, you'd argue they're outmanned with both opponents that they're playing, and yet they beat the Chargers at home, and they come back and almost beat the Saints on the road. So whatever they are, Vrabel will give you the best of it coming up on the game on Sunday. All right, it is time for a little Mailbag Thursday edition. Still time to tweet your questions to us at Browns_Daily. We will answer those coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Well, it's a Mailbag Thursday presented by the Cross Country Mortgage, official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns when it comes to financing. They always get you home. Visit ccm.com today. Equal housing opportunity, MLS 3029. Hello, Gibby.
Howdy, gentlemen.
What a day. What a day, baby.
It's Thursday already.
Thursday.
Again, the whole Monday Night Football thing, in more ways than one, suck.
So I'll just say this, and I'm sure you guys feel similarly. These weeks go so fast because of the routine of them.
Yep.
When you do this job, there's a routine, a rhythm of a Monday is this, a Tuesday is this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they just one goes after another. The idea that we're staring down the barrel of Friday tomorrow, it's hard for me to wrap my head around. So it's just the weeks in football season for me go so fast. They just stack.
Especially the Monday night game, it makes it like
really, yeah,
insane.
Yeah, and then that throws off Monday's rhythm too because that's now different.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a really compressed week. Really is.
Yeah, it's a lot. We'll get there though. Luckily, good weather.
We're fine. We're fine.
Hey, safe, pal.
Yeah.
Safe.
You can tweet your questions to @Browns_daily. And this is the Twitter mailbag, as we do each and every Thursday, presented by Cross Country Mortgage, the official mortgage partner of the Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, we always get you home. Visit ccm.com today. Equal housing opportunity, NMLS 3029. John CLE, who's got to have it more this week, Chargers or Bengals?
I mean, they both aspire to a lot. I think probably the answer to that would be they both play out of conference. I think I'm going to go Chargers just from the standpoint of I don't know if this division is going to run away from anybody. So even at 0-3 would be brutal for Cincinnati. But I don't know that anybody in this division is going to be 5-1 after 6 weeks. So I think that it's a chance for – and their schedule really eases up. They got Cardinals and whereas if the Chargers were 0-3 and playing in the same division with Kansas City, I don't know. Maybe that's harder. I don't know. They both need it bad.
They both. I mean, it's got must-wins for both of them. Teams don't make the playoffs.
I watched Burrow walk out to practice today with a compression sleeve on his leg and did not look like he was moving.
He didn't practice. I mean, he's just walking around like he. Yeah. I mean, they got big problems.
Yeah, they got big problems.
Big problems with the calf with him.
By the way, this just in: Travis Kelce today on the McAfee show.
Oh my God, it's so good.
What did he say?
When asked about the rumors, he said, "I've told her that I've seen her rock a stage at Arrowhead, and she might have to come see me rock the stage at Arrowhead."
There was a great statement that was put out by Swift's people this morning that was in like the London newspaper or something. Look at this swagalicious.
Yeah, because she's she's out of the country.
Let's go.
I don't know. I have no clue. But
I think
he said that the report was that she is in her have fun stage, and they've only hung out a couple of times, and it's very informal, but she thinks he's cute or charming or some nonsense. And then the other part of the statement was that Travis Kelce doesn't really like the attention. And I'm going,
yes, he does.
Jeez.
Living for it.
Come on. It's one of the greatest shoot your shots of all time.
Totally.
It's
Agreed.
unbelievable.
Good for him. Why not?
Yeah, it's an all-time shoot your shot.
Yeah. You can tweet your questions to us at Browns_daily like David Whalen. Would you rather eat the oldest thing in the office fridge or clean the office bathroom with just toilet paper?
I'll do the bathroom with toilet paper.
I'm not afraid
I'm not afraid of that. That's fine.
I'm eating the oldest thing. Worst thing that happens, food poisoning, and I
What if
lose
the
a few
oldest thing's a
pounds.
hard-boiled egg that's been in there for like 5 years? Couldn't do it.
I don't think you can do
Couldn't
that.
do it.
I can. I'm not worried about cleaning. I can wash. I'll disinfect.
Yes.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'll do that all day long.
Kyle Gratz, how much money would someone have to donate to a charity to be the fourth player on the team of Uncle Bo, Z, and Gibby at a golf outing? Also, how much alcohol would said fourth player have to be able to consume to still be vertical after the outing?
I'm not a big drinker when I golf.
Me neither. He is.
Is it like, are we just at a golf outing? Are we trying to win said golf outing, or are
we are trying to win?
Yeah.
Or are we just out there shooting around?
I think you're just having a good time, probably. I don't know. I think it would be great. I mean, didn't somebody bid on that? Didn't somebody win that with us?
Actually, I've got some details on that. That's for off the air.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I thought there was some. I thought we did something like that, and it was a good deal. It was a great deal of money.
Yes.
That was they ended up being. We actually ended up being one of the tops at the Browns Foundation outing. So
that's right.
it's a decent number. I don't have a lot of time,
Yeah.
so like to give away that much would be, I do it for the kids. Do it for some charity.
Look, I don't want you to get wrecked because I want you to enjoy it. Like you can have cocktails, it's fine.
Have one, mix in a water is all I'm saying. Like nobody needs some stumbling moron when you're trying to play. Don't be an embarrassment. Handle your booze.
Yep. Tommy Clayco, who was the first person you met that left you starstruck?
When I met, the first thing that popped in my mind when I met Dwight Clark after that World Series game in his fur coat, his floor-length fur coat. I was
Unbelievable.
Just like,
floor-length full coat.
The fur.
So you're at a World Series game.
Yeah, McGuire hits a walk-off. It was Game 3 of the 1988 World Series.
How'd that one end up?
Not good.
Trying to remember
Some guy from the Reds, or was that 89?
No, that was 90.
89.
I couldn't remember how 88 finished.
4-1
Doesn't sound like
Dodgers.
anything went well.
4-1 Dodgers. But that was the game that
4-1.
A's won.
There must have been quite a bit of drama.
Dennis Eckersley, Kirk Gibson, nightmare fuel. But McGuire at the walk-off, and then I saw Dwight, and I was like, oh my God, Dwight was 10.
And he was in full. Yeah, there were no famous people in Montana when I was a kid. It was pretty remote. The first time that I remember, I was a intern at the television CBS affiliate in Billings, Montana, and Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker came to town as like a get fit with Bo and Herschel thing that they were doing. And we go and I went with the main sports guy and we went and interviewed him. And like Bo Jackson to me, with the similar name, like he walked on water. And we're of an age to remember like that window when he was the greatest athlete on the planet.
Yes.
And I was completely starstruck, blown away by it. In those days, you didn't think to like get a picture or anything either. Like there wasn't that. You didn't have camera phones. Yeah. There was none of that. So like there's really no evidence that it actually ever took place because I was holding a camera interviewing him. But I do remember this. This really struck me. The size of him versus Herschel was a dramatic difference. Like Bo was significantly bigger than Herschel.
Really?
Yeah. And
Herschel Walker was a big dude.
He's a big dude, but Bo like could have swallowed him.
He's a big dude.
The size difference for Bo was significant.
Okay. Kyle Gratz tweets at the show as you can at Browns _ daily. 40-year-old high school friends making our yearly trip to a game this weekend. I think you picked a good one. Staying around 14th and Superior. Any suggestions for places to eat, cocktails in the area?
Oh my God! I mean, there's so many. You're more of a man about
the
downtown.
New Fahrenheit is
I'm sure
electric.
I'm sure that's
Fahrenheit, Marble Room, Town Hall, Luca, Aqua de Luca.
My favorite little dive bar in downtown, otherwise known as the Map Room. So fantastic little
Sora,
place.
sushi place is good.
Yeah, I don't get down there often.
No, I'm not down there often. My buddies are coming in town though on Friday. I think we'll be at Luca for a little Italian.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll be delicious.
It's fun. You're gonna have a ball, man.
Yeah,
it's a great weekend
Weather's
for it. Weather's gonna be unbelievable.
Go down
so
to the river.
Just
go down.
Yeah. So
East Bank.
You wonder, like, are you going to be? Is he coming in Saturday? Probably coming in Saturday. The one thing I would do though is if he's a football fan, and he must be since this is his big getaway. Like Notre Dame, Ohio State's at 7:30 Saturday night. Like my favorite thing to do is great meal while watching football.
It's great.
So like you give me a white tablecloth with great TVs.
Yes.
Maybe a couple other amenities that shall be named nameless, and now you're onto something. That's the type of establishment I might want to start someday.
Sounds like I think you and I have that. I think we have that.
I think that's what I want.
That.
Yeah, it's not a lot to ask. I think it's easy.
KBM. I'm trying to get off melatonin. What's a go-to nightcap? We're gonna by the way,
that's inverted.
That's an extreme situation.
Don't you want those things? Usually you're trying to get off the nightcap and you go to the melatonin.
By the way, melatonin does not work for me. It has never worked for me. I took it for
some
a
people
little while.
love it.
Some people love it.
Fortunately, I have always been
Easy.
Easy sleeper.
Yeah. I don't know. Mad Dog Russo is saying gummies. Maybe try that. I don't know.
Like a CBD gummy, a sleepy CBD gummy.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. I don't think you want to start turning to bourbon right before you go to bed. I don't know. That's the answer.
Not right away. No, you don't want that. I'm all for a nightcap. Enjoy yourself.
Sure.
I mean, but boy. What was he asking? What type of what would work?
Yeah.
I mean, anything would work. If you're just using it to go to sleep, literally anything.
Yeah.
If you know.
Nice little shot of JMO and call it a day.
8 fingers of anything will work as a depth charge if that's what you're looking for. Little, don't spend a lot of money if you just want to go to sleep.
There's no need to overthink it.
Yeah,
none.
I don't think any of it's advisable.
KCK Zagora of the remaining road games, rank your top 3 cities for visiting fans.
Seattle. I think Seattle's a cool city.
It's a great
And you're going to get to see it, I think, while the weather should still be decent enough there because we're there in the middle of October. Seattle, Denver, LA. I mean, those would be the top 3 by far.
Seattle, Denver, Baltimore. I like the
Baltimore,
city's great, man. I have a blast.
It's great and not great.
I would also say this, too. Folks, Gibbe's view of a road trip is slanted incredibly by the quality of the press box and the radio booth.
No,
that's fair.
No. I'm actually talking about nightlife here.
Inner Harbor's really nice in Baltimore.
I'm not. Don't even go to the Inner Harbor. Federal Hill, great place. Little Italy is top of the line. Some good seafood spots.
You got to know where you're going there too a little bit, though.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do the homework.
You got to know where to and where
Let
not
me tell you
to be.
something.
And I like India.
Baltimore
like
is
India as a solid
lovely.
4.
You
It's
could
fine,
go to those. So you have Los Angeles as 5th.
Yeah, I think it's a dump. I hate it.
Okay.
I hate every time we go to LA.
Gibby goes to check into Pelican Hill. This place is a dump.
No. Except we don't
Santa
stay in
Monica
Pelican.
Stinks.
I would love to stay.
Malibu. Who needs it?
I would love to
Orange
stay
County.
somewhere over there.
Sucks.
We're not anywhere close to any of that.
Where are you at?
Downtown.
LA Live.
Oh, you're LA Live. You're JW Marriott, LA
Yes,
Live.
exactly.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
It is great
It's a
there.
great
and
hotel.
And it's real easy to get to all of the places.
You're
we
right off the
discussed
freeway, baby. You
for
get
all of
everywhere
it.
you need to
I
get
hate
to.
LA.
I love LA. I love
Dirty.
LA.
Love it.
Trashy.
We love it.
No thanks.
Trashy.
Have you ever spent any time in the Hollywood Hills, Gibbe?
No.
Rubbing elbows with
Wait
greatness.
a second. What about when he was a musical?
All right, hold on. I'll give you one of my most surreal stories of my entire life.
All right. I have my pen out.
It is prior to week 1 of, let's see, whatever season that I'll figure it out from his career stats. So Adrian Peterson is out the year before.
Okay.
This is right after he destroys his knee. And then he comes back, and it's the year he goes on to lead the league in rushing. So this would have been 2015.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, I am in LA prior to week 1 of that season. So it must have been, that's where I must have been for Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
In a past life, I did a TV show with Ashton Kutcher.
That's correct, yeah.
So, and I was out there in his league that they did all this big fantasy draft or whatever. So I'm at his house in the Hollywood Hills, next to the Hollywood, insane
Crazy,
place.
yeah.
Insane pad. We're hanging out. We're all talking about fantasy football, and we're talking about Adrian Peterson. It was could you even play him in week 1? He goes, hold on. Pulls his phone out. On speakerphone, calls Adrian Peterson, who answers. They shoot this for a second.
Yeah.
And he says, hey, listen, I'm here with all my buddies. We're pumped to see you come back week 1 fantasy. Are we playing? He goes, yeah, play me. I'm back. I'm ready to go. And there were no reports
that he was
indicated that he was going to be back and good to go. So I'm like, this is insane. So sure enough, he comes back, and the first week was The next week, 134, 126-2, 81-1, because people were nervous about him, and he had got it straight from the horse's mouth.
That's amazing.
Completely insane. I was like, wait a second, this is surreal. Now it's taken surreal to a completely different level.
Yeah.
So
that's not happening in Baltimore, gentlemen.
No. LA, right to the top.
Straight to the top.
No thanks. KCK, Uncle
Baltimore.
Bo.
Like,
give me your-
Baltimore's not even ranked in the top probably like 30 cities in this country, right? Is it? Maybe?
Oh, God, no. But I will say I like that. I do like the Baltimore, D.C., Annapolis area.
Yes.
I think that area is really cool. And
Yes.
I do think that is an awesome place to see a football game.
Oh, my God.
One of the
Yeah.
best.
You're taking a road
Elite.
trip.
Yeah,
Elite.
but I wouldn't. Yeah. All right.
If you're taking a road trip, you're saying because you can drive to Baltimore, that enhances it?
No, but like what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the whole experience. SoFi
Depends on what you're
SoFi's
looking
not, I hate SoFi.
It depends on what you're looking for because
But,
you're.
this is me being.
Yeah, one is
native
one.
SoFi.
I'll go here. I'm going to give you a bridge. I'll give you a bridge. Los Angeles would be like a vacation with a football game.
Yes.
Baltimore would be a football game.
Yes.
Fair.
So it's a different.
And if you have the
mood.
necessary means, necessary means
This,
to go
this
LA
person,
and get a
this person
suite
is
at
probably
there,
going
all of
in
that.
on a Saturday and leaving on a Monday.
Yeah, well then you can't,
So-
depending on where you live.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You fly out to LA, leave at 7, you're there at 9 in the morning, you got a whole day? LA's great.
Uncle Bo, give me your 3 favorite budget bourbons from KCK.
I'll do ones
Weller.
that. Yeah,
Why can't you get it
that
anymore?
Well, because people like us talk about it, and so you can't. So it's just you get one out. You get
You
one at a
can't
time.
Take a bourbon that's $20 and is awesome, and then make that one that you have to show up and sit in a parking lot at 9 in the morning for.
That's where we're at.
It's a $20 bourbon.
I know. Well, dude, Elmer T. Lee was a $26 bourbon, and now it's a Ghost. So, like, this is what's happened. It's been happening for over a decade. Here's some really good ones that you can find and get all the time, readily available. I think Larceny's pretty good.
It is.
It's not as good
no
as Weller,
Weller.
but it's also under $30. So that's
Fair.
You know, he wants a budget bourbon.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good one. Woodford is always good. That's a little bit more than
Double
the
Oak
Global
is-
Double Oak's 50. That's very, very
And
good.
Double Oak's good.
Locally, my guys at High Bank with the Whiskey War line do a very good job.
Up and coming.
Up and coming. Best blended whiskey in America 3 years running. San Francisco World Spirits Competition.
Maybe
I don't
not
know.
up and coming.
I don't
Maybe
know.
already there.
I don't know.
Maybe they
I don't
know.
know.
I
Yeah.
think they know something. At
They
that,
might
at
know
that
something.
Spirits
Yeah,
competition.
that's the one that put Pappy Van Winkle on the map.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Who
Love a
knows?
dog today. Pierogi versus ravioli.
Pierogi.
Ravioli. What?
I'm anti-ravioli.
How can you be anti-ravioli?
So when I was a kid, my grandma from time to time would make us like SpaghettiOs and that type of operation.
That's not.
Hold
Okay.
on. So it's kind of like you with the egg. Like
Okay.
she made ravioli once instead of SpaghettiOs,
Okay.
and I got sick. It made me nauseous. And so I understand that that's the lowest form of the ravioli, right? I get it. I understand. But I
You're
can't.
talking about Chef Boyardee ravioli?
That's correct. I cannot.
That's a resemblance to ravioli.
It's much like your egg problem, though, right? Like you
An
will
egg's
not.
still an egg.
Right, but you will not eat an omelet because of an experience you had as a kid.
I
with
don't like the
hard-boiled
taste
eggs.
of eggs.
Right, but eggs can taste depending
You
on
could
what you
do-
put
you
in
could
them.
change
For
the
sure.
eggs.
You know what I mean? Like depending on the oil or the
I will
buttery
say, though,
base
but-
or whatever. Like
Can I ask if this is a
Yeah.
fair comparison? So I also got sick once on Chewy Chips Ahoy.
okay,
But that has not taken me out of the chocolate chip game. I just can't eat Chewy Chips
so
Ahoy.
I'm sure that ravioli is good. I
That's
just
sad.
here's just the issue though. Like if I'm at an Italian joint, it's never going to win the race. So that's why that's why it's not. Now,
You come to my house, though?
My wife's Polish. I mean, pierogies. Come on.
The Zagura Steakhouse, you're gonna get some shrimp cocktail. Might get a crab cake to start. You're gonna get a Caesar salad that I eat at the end because I'm European like that. You're gonna get a big steak.
So elevated.
You're gonna get, I don't know, it could be grilled asparagus, could be the steakhouse broccoli, could be Brussels sprouts.
I like it.
And
Yep.
pancetta,
All
could
of
be
that
any of
wins.
that. And then the starch is usually a lobster ravioli tossed lightly in a little pesto, and it is.
It feels like it would be delicious.
You'd love it.
I just think it's
This
one
would
of those
have
things
no
when
resemblance to Chef Boyardee.
I'm sure
I grew
not.
up on Chef Boyardee
Yeah, yeah.
ravioli.
Do you remember
Okay?
those guys?
Yeah,
Same.
of course. Yeah.
SpaghettiOs.
I don't know if they have
Awful,
it.
roller
dude.
coasters.
That's we're talking
I know,
about,
dude. I've had other
fine
ravioli.
cuisine.
I mean,
Yeah, right.
I've eaten ravioli at good places. I'm just saying, like when I never order it,
Sure.
and it's not something that I.
I don't order it at a restaurant. I can
Yeah.
tell you the last time I ever ordered ravioli, but ravioli in my home is a staple. I use it as a side dish.
I like that. I like where your head's at.
Yeah. You get a portobello ravioli. I do a lobster ravioli.
Yeah.
Throw a little truff on there.
Got to be easy with that. Just a little goes a long way with
Goes
the
a
truff.
long way.
Goes a very long way.
I like the spicy truff.
Timothy tweets, don't forget Buffalo Trace for a good budget. It is, but you can't get it either.
Where you can get it.
So in Ohio, these things just are not readily
Blanton's
available.
is a reasonably priced bourbon. We can't
It's
get it.
$50.
Can't get it.
Can't
Impossible.
Get it. Nope. Ghost. Sucks. Just sucks.
It stinks.
It's awful. It's been wrecked.
It wrecked it. And I never was going to become a collector and get into high-end bourbons, but I thoroughly enjoyed having Weller in my home. I thoroughly enjoyed using Weller to make the bourbon apple pie.
Oh, yeah.
All of it, gone.
Gone.
Like, I used to be able to go into Giant Eagle and get not just the giant
jug.
bottle.
Yeah, the big boy.
For like $30 or whatever
Sure.
it was. And I'd
It's
get
over.
like 3 of them, and I had it for, who knows? I should have bought them all back then. I should have just said, I'll buy everything that you have.
You used to be able to
forever.
get the antique, too, and that doesn't even hit shelves
Yeah, that's like the
anymore.
maroon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all a ghost. Yeah. All right, we got a score to pay attention to coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. We got Thursday Night Football, the San Francisco 49ers, the New York. This feels like Pat Summerall, right? You can almost hear him saying it.
Oh, baby.
Oh, gosh. So great.
So good.
great.
Yeah.
Montana, Clark, touchdown, 49ers.
The leaves
No, this
are
is
beginning
going to
to
be.
fall.
No,
Not today, though.
No, not
Not
today.
today.
Not today. This is Phil Simms to
Oh,
Mark
boy.
Bavaro. Phil McConkey. Look at that little Meggett run. Yes.
Jeff Hostetler off the bench.
Giants By a billion.
By a billion.
By a billion.
And a half. Like, come on.
Infinity plus 3.
Too easy.
Too easy.
Next level next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.
You're down. Great show, guys.
Thanks.
See ya.
You've been listening to